we'll go ahead and get started. We'll take this opportunity to welcome everyone and also to thank everybody for coming, especially to our media, for the girls that are coming, parents, and appreciate you coming for this event. We're excited to look at a new chapter, and we are very fortunate to have Coach Bud here to accept and to be our next head coach. Can't say enough about that. I'll speak more to that here in a few minutes. We're going to have a statement read by our director, Mr. Curtis, and any remarks he wants to make, and then Mr. Nichols, if you want to say something, and then I'll have some words, and then if you want to say some few words after that, Coach, then you go right ahead, and after that we'll have some questions from the media, and then we'll bring this to a close. Director Curtis.
Well, good morning, or good afternoon. It still feels like morning to me right now, but it's been a busy day. So I am very privileged and honored to announce Mr. Bud Brannon as part-time wellness teacher and head girls basketball coach here at Cannon County High School, beginning with the 2020-21 school year. And Mr. Bud Brannon graduated from Lebanon High School in 1979, Murfreesboro native, born in Murfreesboro, graduated in 1984 from Middle Tennessee State University, and was raised in Lebanon, third-generation educator, son of legendary coach Campbell Brandon, who passed away a little over a year ago, and he's married and to his wife Benita, and he's raising two granddaughters, so I wish him well on that endeavor. But Mr. Brandon has coached basketball all of his career, and looking over his resume, and was very, very impressed as an educator at various schools, and including 13 seasons at Wilson Central, amassing a 302 to 115 record before leaving education to enter politics a little bit. So he's got my admiration for that, running for an office in Wilson County as the circuit court clerk. He spent 2014-2015 at Trousdale County, and then went on to Smyrna High School to take over the Lady Bulldog program in 2015, and team going and reaching the Region 4 AAA quarterfinals. So, but at Wilson Central, taking his team to 2 state championships and going to the Glass House numerous times. So I was very, very impressed with his record. Principal Nichols recommended him to me, and I have accepted his recommendation. I know tryouts are already scheduled or are working on that, so we wish him well. And you know what really impressed me with Mr. Brandon's experience is not only as an outstanding educator and a basketball coach, but was well recommended from numerous individuals that Mr. Nichols had contacted, and educators, and personally myself, in contacting educators that he had worked with before, and had an outstanding recommendation from MTSU head coach Rick Insell. So when you have that kind of resume, it gets your attention really quick. And so we're honored for Mr. Brandon to be here at Cannon County. And one of the things too, he's wanting to move here, and I think says a lot to us, is wanting to move into our area to raise his grandkids here. And to me, that says a lot about Cannon County and his respect for us. And so what I'm expecting of him is, like I do all of our coaches, to, number one, looking at our mission and vision of preparing all of our students for their future, whether it's as not only in basketball, but also as individuals and scholar athletes. We're about scholar athletes, and I think these young ladies have heard me say that enough, that I want excellence not only on the court, but in the classroom, and because all of that carries on, and all of us know, and all of us understand that, as whether you're parents, and we appreciate our parents being here, or a fellow teacher, we understand that, or as a student, that we desire excellence every single day, no matter if it's on the basketball court here And that's what I expect, is excellence every single day. And I believe that in his character and commitment will bring that spirit of excellence to our girls basketball program. And so I'm really glad to, and talking with Bud and seeing his vision for our program, and to me that made a huge difference in his hire, is doing that. And so I'm excited about our girls going to the next level and to continuing our legacy. We have a legacy program here at Cannon County, and we want to continue that, to take that legacy on to the next level. So back to you there, Mr. Athletic Director.
Well, I'll go ahead and if Mr. Nichols have some words.
I just want to reiterate what Mr. Curtis said, that as we had several conversations with Coach Brandon, he's really excited, and he's really excited to be a part of Cannon County basketball, and especially the Lionettes program. We talked in depth on the history of our program, and he had the opportunity to meet the girls just a few minutes ago. And one of the things that I was watching as he was interacting with them, he was as excited as they were. And that's what excites me, is that he's going to bring that knowledge and skill that he has, and that skill set to push our girls to the limits, and that's exciting. So I'm just excited for Coach Brandon to be a part of Cannon County basketball.
Just another few words I would like to say on this. You know, the day after, or the day of after Coach Odom resigned, and we were in the locker room, and Mr. Nichols said the same thing as I did, and I looked at every one of them, and I told them that I will do my very best, and Mr. Nichols said the same thing, to try to find the very best for these girls, because they deserve nothing more than the best. And so through a diligent search, you know, I honestly can say and have no regrets that we have found somebody that will fit our mold here, and that will carry these girls, like Mr. Nichols said, to the next level. You know, it says a lot about Cannon County, about the basketball program, the girls, that somebody with like Coach Brandon to be interested and to want to come and to provide his services to motivate these girls and to shape them. It's not about you know, putting the ball in the hoop. It's about making these girls better. It's about making them better citizens. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, the character and integrity means a lot. And I think we have that with Coach Brandon. I think he can shape these girls. I think he's going to push these girls. And I'm just excited for this opportunity, excited for Coach Brandon and his willingness to do that. And I'm just really anxious to see what these girls can do, because I know the group of girls that he's getting, I know they're coachable, and I know they're motivated. And so, you know, you put the two together and good things are bound to happen. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Coach Brandon, if you want to say just a few words.
Sure. Yeah, I'm very humbled to be here with the tradition that's been here through the years. I know I lived it and watched it as a child. Watched Coach Harris have many good teams, and one quick story. I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and with my dad, who hosted Lebanon High School at the time, went to old Tennessee Tech gym. They were in the region tournament, and Coach Harris, I think he had an assistant coach, and some of y'all know this probably, but I think he had an assistant coach there that would just hold him down, so he wouldn't, you know, get up and go too intense out there. Well, it didn't work during this region semifinal game, and he got up and left the gym and didn't come back for several minutes. And then came back. So as a child, I'll never forget that, and it's just one of the many stories that I've already heard about Coach Harris, and I look forward to having a few words with him, because he's definitely been I think, to me, the backbone of Cannon County girls basketball. That's what y'all do, and that's I'm glad to be here, and try to take things to another level and get everybody excited. There's not many places that would draw my attention to. You know, there would be jobs possibly down the road here, but at some point in time in life, it's about being at the right place. And I've taken teams out of the state to other tournaments. I've been to just different throughout the Southeast. And the way I understand it is, sometimes when you're in the bubble, which y'all are in the bubble, and sometimes, I know you know this, but I may see it maybe a little different because I'm from the outside, and as of the other day, and today I'm on the inside. But I know y'all have something very special. There's not many high school programs that on a Tuesday night, a Friday night, home game, and the gym's packed. And then people are excited. That's the attraction to me. It matters. It matters. And I grew up in it. I'm passionate about it. And it takes two passions to make a real winner. And that's special. It's a blessing. And I really appreciate the opportunity. And I said this to the girls already, but I worked down at Middle at camps there in the summertime when I was younger, and I'd worked Lady Balls. I worked for Pat Summit up there for 17 years. All these places I tried to gather things and gather stuff and compile it. And there's one thing that Coach Summit said, and I carry it around all the time. You know, there's a lot of things in this world that we cannot control. It's crazy times, and but there are some things that you can control, and sometimes it takes what we call mental toughness, and I think it's something that we develop on the floor, mental toughness, you know, and it carries over into life. And some of you people that are here, I know y'all played, and y'all know what I'm talking about, and y'all know too, and not quite there maybe where you like to be with it, but there's three things. And number one, you can control how hard you work. Nobody can tell you that you can't work hard. You know. Number two, your attitude. You can control your attitude. I mean, that's self things. The third thing is your health. And I think, wow, she said this. Coach Summit said this back 20 years ago. Well, here it is today. I'm using it because it's so relevant. It's so relevant, our health, you know. So I know everybody's aware of that, but there can be a silver lining to all adversity. There is silver linings, and I think that we're going through some times that are adverse, but nothing's going to stop you from getting in the backyard. I've already asked them. I said, "How many of y'all have a goal at home?" All the hands went up. Everybody has a basketball goal at home. So in the next few weeks as we go, I will be giving you things that I have used and things you can do on your own. And I think there's a lot of, I know y'all are hungry, and there were 6 seniors that moved on, and so it's time for some of you others to rise. And my survey says who works hardest, usually that's who rises up. And like I said, we all want the same thing here. It's going to be a process, but I am excited about the process and excited where I am. No, Mr. Curtis has already mentioned, but my wife, Bonita, she is a great support for me and what I do. She understands the long hours and the hard work, and Emma, my daughter Emma, she already likes basketball, and that's exciting to me. She's going to be in 4th grade, and she will know if she could get some shots in today. Well, of course. And then Bella, she's over there on her tablet. She's 6, but they've been really good for my life, and Kenny County I know is going to be good for my life, and I just thank y'all for your support. Appreciate it.
Any questions for the meeting?
Coach Brandon, what kind of basketball, what style of basketball will we see from your team?
Well, a lot of times it depends on talent, and I'm going into uncharted waters when it comes to talent. But there's different ways to win, and sometimes you slow it down, so you have to be fast, and depends on who you're playing, and offenses depends on talent. But there's one thing during these times I've already asked. We're talking about what you can do in practice, and of course when we have tryouts, I understand there'll be 10 on one end, 10 on the other, social distance, and we will go by those guidelines, and we can do a lot of shooting. We can do a lot of shooting drills, and I have a lot of shooting drills and techniques and things, and sometimes shooting girls, it's not, you may miss 2 or 3, and the key to it is to be mentally tough and say, hey, let's work on defense, like I said earlier, and it'll come back around. But we're going to become great shooters, great basketball players, great defenders, and then we'll just go from there.
I know you're no stranger to this area of basketball, District 8AA in particular. How do you embrace that challenge? It's a very tough district, top to bottom. Just how do you embrace that moving forward with this Cannon County program?
Well, you got to start to jog a little bit first, and we'll, we don't know what kind of start there will be, but all we can do is work really hard between now and the season begins, and then try to keep games close, or keep the opponent not close. I don't know where we are, to be honest with you, but it is a tough district, and we are basketball people. We put our shoes and socks on like everybody else. I know sometimes the Upper Cumberland has always had great teams, and y'all have here too. But I do feel like that a lot of things, it comes from the shoulders up. It comes shoulders up, and you got to get you're not going to be denied. You have to have that mentality and be mentally tough.
You got some young ladies coming back that are going to be good, and then you've got some cornerstone pieces that are rising up, just like you said, some of the younger kids that are going to get their chance. How do you develop those kids? What type of things do you do to develop basketball players, especially your first year here, maybe not knowing the different competition? I myself don't think you'll have too much of a tough challenge, because of your resume. There's always been some tough districts that you had high schools with, Wilson Central and Smyrna.
Well, Wilson Central High School is where I started my high school career in coaching, and in the interview, the principal caught me off guard, and he asked me, he said, well, Coach Brandon, do you think you can bring a state championship here in 5 years? And I'm like, that's kind of, and I said, well, I can tell you this, I won't be happy if we don't. So, as time went on, the 3rd year we went to the state tournament, and the 4th year we went to the state tournament. We always had on the board in there in the locker room, state tournament. That was our goal, and it happened. Well, the next season, which was the 5th season, I go in there, first practice of the year. They had changed the goal on their own, win the state tournament. And lo and behold, we won, in 5 years we won a state championship in a brand new school. And that was from scratch. And we worked hard, but we had some awfully good people around us, and that's what it takes. It takes support, community support, parent support, believing in what we're doing. And I've already we've talked about this a little bit. There are going to be days when you leave the gym. If you're happy every day when you leave the gym, something's wrong, and including myself. So you always want to understand that it's a challenging sport, and there are going to be some good days, there'll be some valleys, and then there'll be some peaks.
Of course, with COVID-19 hitting and all the regulations that we have, what's the future couple of months look like for these young ladies?
Well, it's posted on the website with tryouts, and next Thursday and Friday,
Yes.
and we'll that's the first step, and then we'll go from there. But like I said earlier, what we're doing in addressing, of course, I was a health, wellness, PE teacher, and my wife will tell you I'm almost a germophobic. So I will be very aware of what we're doing with the basketballs and social distance, but we'll work around it, and we don't know next week we don't know what holds next week. And with Mr. Curtis, he's our director, he and I'll stay in direct contact about all this. And adversity is, we're taught that. Adversity is part of life, and it will turn out for good.
And too, Keith, as well as the audience, COVID-19 has brought things that we've never anticipated ever before in history, at least in modern history. I can go into that lesson if I need to, ladies, to talk about that, but with the Spanish flu and all of that, or the influenza epidemic of 1918. But we are in, I keep saying uncharted waters and unprecedented. It's kind of getting old, me saying unprecedented and uncharted all the time. But it is. And, we're going to go by the guidelines. And many people have asked about the startup of school. None of us know right now. And I've used that phrase, Mr. Nichols will probably verify that, as of this moment. And I continue to use that phrase, as of this moment. This is where, I'm anticipating a regular start on August the 5th. With our first in-service day, and then later that following week, our first day of school. That's what I'm anticipating right now. Now, how that will look or what that will look, but every genre of sports, and we're in communication as nearly daily anymore with TSSAA of what their guidelines are, and looking at what they're receiving the same kind of set of guidelines everybody else is. Whether you're on the collegiate level or the high school level or the middle school or even elementary levels, is we are trying to be reactive in a situation where proactivity is probably needed more than reactivity is needed. And so we're in the same boat everybody else is. If the governor says something or the president says something or the CDC says something, then that's what we react to. So this has been, whether it's on the sports level or it's on the education level, is that we're all in this thing together, folks. And I want these girls to be at practice next week and go at it just whatever the guidelines are, that we're going to follow those guidelines. And this has made my job incredibly difficult. And we're looking at tough financial times as a district, and it's just an incredible thing about what's going on, but it's all of us working together as a team, as which we learn on the athletic court, that you work together as a team, period. And so that's part of the Cannon County Schools team: parents, educators, administrators, all of us working as a team to weather this storm together. So I hope I didn't preach too much on that one, but yeah, that's where I'm at. And I'm frustrated, but yet I'm hopeful, and that's what I'm trying to instill in these girls. As whether it's a high school graduation had to be done differently, or athletic contest has to be done differently, we don't know. Who would have thought that we'd have had a whole spring, every spring sport would have been canceled this year, but it was. And so my hope is in the fall it may look differently. And you follow some of what is going on in society right now. NASCAR's running in front of empty fans. I hope that's not the case for these girls playing basketball, that the stands are empty. We're having to watch on a website somewhere. I hope that's not the case. But if it is, DTC needs to help us out there. But we're working together. And again, it's all of us working together to see this program being successful. And I wish Coach Brandon all the best in the middle of a crazy environment right now.
Thank you.
Coach Brandon, I want to ask about your dad, of course, legendary Hall of Fame coach, and talk Talk about, growing up with him, what that was like, and some of the foundation that he taught you as a young coach.
You want to know all the stories?
If you want to tell.
Well, he was my mentor and best friend, confidant, and being in education and seeing a lot of children not having some structure that they needed at home. I had structure, and I make this jokingly. I became a pretty quick guy playing basketball on the floor because of my dad. Because if I didn't do just right, I had to dodge him. So, but I was very, very blessed to have a dad and be able to watch him through the years. And it's almost like I've had about 3 or 4 lifetimes of coaching, where some coaches maybe have one. I saw him win a state championship in Jackson in 1971 and was right there, and still have those memories. And of course, memories of Cannon County. And then I had him, my dad, on the bench as an assistant coach. I guess every year I fired him 2 or 3 times. We would we'd clash some, and then he wouldn't come back for a couple of days. And the girls would say, "Well, Coach, is he coming back?" I said, "Girls, I don't know. We just got to keep going. We got to keep going here, But it all worked out. Iron sharpens iron. We know that, and treasure those times for a long time.
Coach Cagle, I'll get you to kind of elaborate a little more. Having Coach Brandon's a home run hire, I think, for Cannon County, and for what this program's legacy, as he's mentioned. Just kind of reiterate a little more about Coach Brandon and what you think he'll be able to bring to this program moving forward.
Well, exactly, and it just speaks volumes, like I said before, that what we've got going on here, to have somebody like him to come in and want to have this opportunity to do that. His resume speaks for itself. The experience he has, the upbringing he had. We had similar backgrounds growing up. I mean, we've had several conversations already, and we talked about growing up with a dad who was your coach for several years, and then you're exposed to it so young, and how that shapes you, and and for him to want to come here, I was very, very fortunate and surprised, to be honest with you. But that, like I said, that just speaks to what, the aura that surrounds, the girls' basketball program here, and the expectations. And, we've had conversation about that. He knows. He understands that. He's accepted that. But for him to bring that to these girls, it was a win-win situation. And I feel very fortunate and honored that he's here and willing to do this. But, it's just a situation where you just try to focus on what's best for those girls sitting right over here. That's it. That's it. And that's why I said to them that I'm going to work as hard as I can to try to find that. And, looking back now, of all the time and effort, and it seemed like it was a long time, it just seems like this was a good fit. It seemed like that he came along at the right time, and I couldn't be happier. And these girls deserve that. And if I didn't do that, then I know that I failed, and I know Mr. Nichols feels the same way because he addressed them just like I did. So for Coach Brandon to come in and to accept that, I couldn't be more excited.
Like to say this, and I've had a path of a career, 3rd generation educator, grew up in the coaching world, and you get a little older, you get a little wiser, hopefully. And God works in mysterious ways. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. And history-wise, there's a reason. Some of the great leaders of the United States, presidents, they would list, to make a decision, they would list the pros and the cons, the good things and the bad things. I didn't come up with one thing that would be bad for myself being in Cannon County, not one thing, including icing on the cake. And to me, it's when you get a little older, like I said, you change a little bit how you think. But my great grandfather was Newton Cannon, who Cannon was named after, and he was the governor out of Cannon County back in 1840, 50,
yes, sir.
somewhere in there. And he bought 300 acres of land too. So I've got to go to the courthouse when we leave here. There may be some unclaimed land that's out here. I can move on that land. But seriously, and then that's on my mom's side. My dad's side, of course, I'm a Brandon, and Cornelius Brandon is at the top of our family tree, and he's buried out here at Simpson Cemetery, which I don't know. Maybe we can. If my wife, she's driving, if she'll take me over there, I'd like to go there. So you have those things that, to me, are very. I feel like I'm just where I was led to be. And I really appreciate being here. Thank y'all.
You good? Well, if that's it, all the questions, then we'll go ahead and draw this press conference to a close with a few words. I just want to thank Tom and DTC for being here, and Keith for being here, girls for being here, some colleagues over here, and for the parents. I appreciate y'all coming. And if there's nothing else, we'll just go ahead and wrap this up and bring it to a close.
Thank you.
Thank you.